Okay. So now everybody can see the screen, correct? My screen? Ha. What I am asking, everybody can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now I am recording it. So here today this is a very basic introduction of artificial intelligence. This artificial neural network, and we will learn today basically how to train a network, and we'll learn. I'll share some of my works related to this neural network, how we are implementing some application using this neural network, and I will tell you some physical, real life learning also, how it is correlated to artificial neural network. Okay, so basically this artificial neural network, it's a most generic form of artificial intelligence for emulating human thinking process compared to expert system and fuzzy logic. You know, this expert system works based on huge numerical computations, and this fuzzy logic works based on lot of rule base, the membership function, and the fuzzy set variable, etc. Okay, so basically this the actual action of human cerebral cortex that should be bring in your computer to solve the real life or engineering problems. So normally human cerebral cortex, it's contain around 100 billions of neurons which are interconnected with each other to form a biological network. Okay, so basically we know the number of neurons decides the human memory and the intellectuality, the intelligence of that particular human beings. Okay, so already in 12th biology we understand the structure of neuron, but the interconnection and the signal transmission are not very known today also. Otherwise this is a very huge wide research field. People are trying to get the informations, then it will be once it is known, it should be definitely a revolution to implement in practical life. So actually let us understand, in normally in expert system or fuzzy logic or this kind of system where we want to identify something, so there basically we use a lot of mathematical approaches or the numerical approaches through which we will try to understand the dynamics of the system. But you think just when a newborn child, we are not putting any program or any algorithm inside their mind, but they will slowly recognize his or her parent. That means inside the brain there will be some memory, where somewhere some memory will be there, say in a matrix form. So when he or she is seeing her father or mother, the particular, say this is a n cross n matrix, just assume, it's not really so, but I am trying to explain it. So so in n cross n matrix, so total number of element will be n square. So somewhere he or she will be putting some mark. If this many elements are containing this kind of values, and after watching, when my eyes as a receptor taking the signals, and that time when it is just mapping inside my that child brain memory, so some particular location of that matrix is filled with dot, and if it is matching, then the output will come, okay, he or she is my parent, like this. But here we are not, a child don't know the dynamics of his parents, but he or she knows that this is my parents. Just it's a like it's a simple kind of what a repeated learning, and you can tell the matching, the comparison, repeatedly saying. Like when you are teaching a child that this is a rose, so they will do, they will understand the color, how it looks like, which one is cat, dog. They don't know in depth of those objects, the characteristics of that objects. When you are teaching similarly the alphabets, they don't know what will happen with that, or what is this, that, all these things, but they will just try to memorize it, some characteristics, in some form they will store in the memory, and when the second time it will appear, they will try to match whether it is matching with that particular object or not. If it is matching, then the outcome will come, okay, this is particular that object. Okay, so as I told, it is normally not programmed anywhere. No need to understand the dynamics, no need to identify the system. Okay, by repeated mapping, try to form a particular characteristics matrix so that it is unique for that particular process. And once again you are seeing that same thing, and if it is matching with that, you are easily identifying that it's okay, it is like this, or the output will come like that. Okay, likewise we are pronouncing the particular alphabet or some animal name or something to a child. So it has a huge application of process control. The system identification, as I told, if you want to exhibit, if you want to get a very high performance dynamics from a particular system, definitely you need to identify it. Without knowing the transient behavior of the system, you cannot expect a very good high performance dynamic response. It may be useful for forecasting, huge application in robotics, and so many. Now let us understand what is neuron. So this is a typical picture of neuron. So that neurons are basically the processing element which receives and combines. Is it through this the signals are received, and through there it is transmitted, it is propagated, and here again it is combined. Here it is combined. So that's why I told. So neurons are the processing element, and it receives and combines the signal to from similar neurons through thousands of input paths called the dendrites. You see, these things are called dendrites. It's a biological term. Already we studied in 10th or 11th standard. So now when all the signals are combined here, so if the signal is strong enough, we call the neuron fires, and it's produce an output through the axon. This part is called axon, which is again transmit through dendrites and so on. It is keep on going. Okay. Now the signal which is propagating, the passes through then there is a small gap. That's why I told it is infinitesimal gap. It's a very small gap. We called it is, in biological term, it is called synaptic node, which is filled with neurotransmitter fluid, which either accelerates or retardates the flow of signal. Okay. So when the question of acceleration and retardation comes for an electrical signal, this is basically flow of electrons. So that is depends on the impedance or the conductance, which is the impedance and the conductance between the two dendrites, or the impedance or conductance at each synaptic node. It is contributed by the neurotransmitter fluid, which is basically in turns contributes the human memory also. This is very important. So what should be in our practical, when we will be doing the artificial neural network, this impedance or the conductance of that particular synaptic node is very important to predict the particular task. Okay. So basically the human memory, this is an intelligent system, and it's the associative non-volatile memory. Likewise, I want to give one example. Say one patient is needed to go for surgery. Now if you give anesthesia, instead of local anesthesia, suppose the operation is a major one, so you need full anesthesia. So that time after the operation over, if this properties was not present in human memory, then he might have forget all the previous of his learning. Okay, but it's not happening. There is some non-volatile memory. It's a associative intelligence system. Now I am showing you a very simple. Now you see, these are the weights, or you can tell this is a kind of gain. Okay, so the synaptic, so this is one dendrites, this is one dendrites, and here it is combining together, and this part is axon. Okay, so now I am telling you the similarities. So the synaptic weights or the gain, these are the basically gain. Once you are able to predict, once the child is able to predict, set the gain of this W for a particular object, then he learned that object, what is that. Okay, so initially I will tell you one very interesting example of my daughter. I teach one rag, it's music, and how she learned. I will share you. So the synaptic weights or the gain, or basically this is the connection strength, which is decided by the conductance or the impedance between two dendrites. It's either excitatory, which is positive, or inhibitory, which is negative. Okay, so now this bias source, basically what is for that? So basically this is a special neuron. This will be added each layer of the neural network, which simply stores the value 1. So in many cases it is necessary to move the entire activation function. This is another part, it's called activation function. Means entire summation, it is through, once it is transformed through this function, it will give the actual output. Okay, there are different kind of activation functions are available. Okay, so whether you need to shift it entirely left or right to generate the required outputs, so for that this bias source is provided. Normally these activation functions are non-linear in nature, and once the entire after summing at the node, when the entire function is passing through the activation function, finally we will get the real output. So this is basically very simply the architecture. These are the various kind of activation functions. You know, this is a linear, this is a threshold, this is a signum, this is the log sigmoid. I will use this. I am very comfortable with this, and I saw that most of my, because I am working in electrical and medical field, so there this is most I felt most suitable for me. People who are aeronautics and all, they will use this one actually. So this you can follow for this in details. If you want to know that, you can follow B.S. Grewal, the basic engineering mathematics book, that you can follow. Now here I am very shortly I am expressing the how it is getting computed. Now this is, you see, these are the hidden layer. This entire layer is the hidden layer. This is the input layer, and this is the output layer. And here is some algorithms are used, so that I will teach you when we will be writing the code in microcontroller. Right now no need, it's a big not big, it is I can tell junk equations, so people may get afraid. No need that one. So now you see, this is, so connection between, these are the nodes 1 to 10, these are the nodes. So this gain of 1 to 4, it is written as W14. So similarly this should be W24, and this should be W34, like this. Okay. So now when this, the inputs, it may be continuous or discrete, when it is coming, and here when it is summing, get summed and coming out as V4. So the basically V4 is equal to W14 into X1, W24 into X2, and W34 into X3. So you see, that's why it is written like this. So this is your that hidden layer vector, and this is for your input vector. Okay. So now you see, W4 is equal to W14 X1, W24 X2, W34 X3. Similarly, V5 is equal to 15, 25, and 35. So it is like this. So it's written in the matrix form. Now these I want to say that there are two outputs. So now this output, now I have to form this Y1. If you see, the Y1 is equal to what? So W49 into V4, W59 into V5, W69 into V6, and so on. Okay. So now you see, that's why here I have used the hyperbolic function. Okay, means just to show you, not used. So like this. Now both the, now you understand this one, your Y1 is equal to V4 into W49, V5 into W59, and so on. So this is the matrix. Now if you replace this V vector here, then you will get a function Y in terms of x1 and x2 and x3. So now once I am able to obtain the function Y with some W matrix multiplied with my input, when you are able to get it, and if the process is known, if my process is known, say I have done one experiment, the output is Y and the input is X, and through this transformation, if I do the transformation, so that is another part of linear algebra, you know, it's called linear transformation, which involves a lot of optimization techniques called Jordan canonical method, singular value decompositions, all these, so many things are there. After doing all these things, if I able to get this W matrix, then for the same process, whatever input will come, I will get that output. Okay. So some of my students who are working with me from VIT Vellore, they must know that we are. They already know that we are working to estimate the inverse rotor time constant of an induction machine, which is very helpful to estimate the instantaneous rotor flux position. If you don't know the rotor flux position, then you cannot align it with any kind of stationary or rotating axis. So the dynamic, 1 minute just, I will take water, 1 minute just. So otherwise we cannot able to get the high performance dynamic response from the motor when it will be it is required for decoupled application. Decoupled application means, I want to say, where the torque and the speed of the machine are to be controlled in an isolated manner. Here I will give you one very interesting example. So we are Bengali, we are fond of music. So one day my daughter is not with me actually, she is staying some 2000 Calcutta. So I used to teach her some music. So one day I was teaching her this one rag. It's called Khamaj. It's a very sweet rag. So this is the notation. So first I thought that okay, I will teach her the notation. The notation is like that: sa sa ni ni dha pa ma ga ga ma pa dha ni ni sa. So I was telling her these things because this is the dynamics of that rag, but she was not able to follow me. Then some of my while I discussed with all of my engineering problem with some of my very close senior friends. So just we are discussing, that time they are telling, okay, you first give her an example of that. Then I told 2 days. It took only 2 days. While I told one, this is one bhajan. नमन करूं मैं सतगुरु चरना सा सा नी नी ध प म ग ग म प ध नी नी सा. So when I told this bhajan two times to her, what happened? Within 2 days, now you see she is here frequently, not seeing the harmonium reeds, and she is playing this sa sa ni ni dha pa ma ga ga ma pa dha ni ni sa. Before that she was not able to read the tempo, not able to understand the thing. So here what happened, and this is a very good one. Interesting songs was also there. Tere mere milan ki rehna. This song also she is learning. Her age is only 3.5 years. So what is happened here? Just try to, why I told this example. So what happened here? When I told, so this is the input to her neural network. So when I am singing this song, Naman karu, this song, whenever I am singing, when it is going to her brain, what is happening? She is arranging the weight matrix, the synaptic node, the gain of the synaptic nodes is getting set, and it is creating these nodes, these frequencies. Sa sa ni ni dha pa ma ga ga ma pa dha ni ni sa. So once that is fixed in her brain, now any sentence I give, and if I tell Mama you convert these things to with these notes, she is able to play. So whenever we are going to do the practical problems, so first we should match it to take the input and to get the desired output, to learn it. What should be the weight matrix? Once that is set, then you need not to do anything. automatically the same kind of input once coming, you can exhibit the output. Another things I was telling is one of my we are from a very remote village. My place of birth was a village. So there my primary school, Pathshala it is called, that one of my very close one friend, she is now working in German one medical college. So we are developing one system. I'm 2 minutes I will finish, I'll brief it. So if there is a short PR interval, you see ECG, when you are getting the short PR interval, it's called physiological AV nodal delay. Then how that can be picturized? So basically this is the electrical pulse transmission. I'm not going I'm very quickly, it's a very interesting subject, but I am skipping it. So the pulse, the electrical pulse in the myocardial tissue, it is generated from the SA node, then it is going to AV node, then bundle of each, then left bundle branch, right bundle branch, then the Purkinje fiber, then the ventricle get depolarized. So these are the paths. It is going like this. What happen in between, if any accessory paths are available, so very quickly your ventricle try to get accelerated. This will cause the tachycardia. It's a kind of tachycardia. So this is the SA node, the pacemaker. So actually pulse should go from here. Once the pulse reaches here, then there should be some delay. This is called AV nodal delay. Due to that, this PR interval is created due to that. Then from here it will come and the ventricle get depolarized. But what happens if there is some leakage path or accessory path is there, prior to reach the electrical signal here, it is quickly reaching here. You understand? From here, if it is leakage path is there, very quickly it is getting depolarized. And here it will take more time, actual case. So what will happen? Your heartbeat is more. Even though I also have a tachycardia, I have a resting heartbeat of around 100, more than 100, sometimes 110. So through a neural network, we want to picturize this. There will be a sensor, all the leads will be connected to a human body, and automatically live through neural network, you can able to see the picture, the movie of the heart. So this one project I am doing, so that I will later, if anybody interested, I will share you. So later on, I already started the course with some of the people in there. So there you need to learn Python. So already some of my students like Adi and all, they know, already worked in Python. Keras, then the TensorFlow, and this is my first package during my engineering in 2003. I learned that Prolog, and in my opinion 75% of enterprise application will be expecting artificial intelligence and machine learning within 10 years. So we should learn it actually. It's an emerging field. So now I will go, this part is very, very important. I am going to give you a practical simulation. So here some terms I will use. Is a min max. So basically min max is a function, it's a decision making algorithm. Okay, the goal of the algorithm is to find the optimal next to move. Means suppose I am at this point, so how I will move to the next point. The pure lean, it's a neural transfer function. Okay, so this will calculate the layer output from the input as I shown in the previous slides. The train LM, it's a network training function. That means how it is to be adjusted, the W matrix, how it is to be adjusted. So there are a lot of methods are there. So normally I will use that Liebenberg-Marquardt optimization. Actually my English pronunciation is not good, okay. already my students, who are my students, they know. So please excuse me. So this is the basically this is the number of iteration, epochs. So how many times it will correct the value. Okay. So these are the terms it is to be used. Now I am going for a practical problem. Okay. Just I will close it. So first, this is the MATLAB. First thing what I used to do. So first you set your directory. Now I have some data, but that data is a confidential data, I cannot share you. I'll generate some data. Better what I'll do, I'll write the code. Okay, let us see. So say I am taking a variable x which is starting from 0 going up to 10, and my actual y function is basically x cube plus say x. So this is known, but from this data I'll try to feed that. I'll create a network. Okay, so I am giving that network name, say OVIC is equal to new, there is a feed forward network, and I will use the min max. Okay, I will use the min max. My input is x. So now say there is a layer, I have shown the hidden layers. I assume that there is a 20 hidden layers and the outputs are single, say one output, so I am thinking it's 1. Now I am writing those activation function. As I told, I will use the log sigmoid. So I will use a log sigmoid. Then I will use that purelin. Okay. Then I will use the train LM. My computer is slow. Okay. Okay. So what is telling now? I will set the train parameter. Now I want to train it like that. The child is getting trained by repeatedly iteration. So I am training. I am setting the parameters. So train train param dot that epochs. Say I'll do 100 first. Let us see. Otherwise my computer may hang. So now I'll set the goal. Goal means the error. I should not put very large, very minimum error based on my sampling interval, so that it may not converge. So that is depend on your practice. Then the learning rate. The learning rate I should not put. You see, if you learn the things very slowly, your accuracy will increase, but it will take lot of time. So I should not put very low also. So these are the practice. So I think now my model is set. Now I will train it. So that is, the command is train. It is very simple. Input and output. If I do that, I don't know whether my computer will hang or not. Okay, you see now that network is now the iteration is going on. Okay, now you can see the performance. How the networks is the 20. You see the layer was 20. So like the 20 layers, that many neurons. Yeah. So this my goal is, it is pakka, means very near. I will not tell pakka. So you see here that network, the 20 layers will be there. That many neurons, that many W calculated here. Okay. Then I'll see the, yeah, it is good. So you will, all these things you will understand when you will practice it. Okay. Now let us see. Let us plot it. So now I will define another variable, that is equal to, now I am using my neural network. The name I give a Novik. Now I will plot y, that is my actual y, which I got from my experiment. You see, both are perfectly matching. There is no deviation. Both the curves. Now we'll understand what is the. Let us do one more thing. The error is equal to, this is my error. So now let us plot error. Now you see that my error in this entire computational method, the error means, you see how you will correlate it. A child, when the first day he is writing the letter A, it may not be that much good looking, but after 10 years now, it will become very good looking. The perception, the accuracy, the look, everything will come. That means the slowly the error will reduce. It's based on the number of iteration, the epochs. Now here I'll just write the code once again. Here you see the error is limiting -2 to 0.-2 to around 0.1. This is the error. Now if I repeat those things here, just what I will do, this I will make 500. Instead of this I will make 500. Okay. And now I will train it again. You see, naturally it will take more time prior to earlier, because now the child is getting more practiced. Instead of 100, now it is trying 500. In that case, we will see whether the error is reduced or not. So you can use billions, millions of layer. not billions, computer will hang, thousands of layers which will contain billions of neurons, your accuracy will be pakka. So from the practical point of view, any system, whenever you are getting a particular output, without understanding the dynamics, using this kind of network, you can predict, you can save the file somewhere. So yeah, so now I'll run it again. Now my error is equal to this minus y. Now plot E. You see, now the error, it is reduced. You see, it is earlier was 0.2. Now it is the max negative error. It is coming 0.01 minus. Earlier it was 0.2 minus. Now it is 0.01. Okay. Earlier the positive, it's gone to 0.1. Now it is positive range is 0.015. So the range is already reduced. So likewise, using this kind of technique, so you can apply it. It's a very basic things. Later on, slowly I will teach while to my student for coding it, how to write the code in microcontroller. So that time I will share the video also. So if for our unit some people is beneficial, then it will be good. But I will be mostly apply these things in generic application, like mostly my job is in motor control and medical application. So I am